Welcome back to Extra Medium Skills. I'm building a GP race bike from a Triumph frame, a bunch of spare parts, and the R3 motor. On this episode, I'm going to be putting some bodywork on this bike and building a tank cover from scratch. I have an update. Found a smoking deal on some Armor Body's bodywork from an R3. The good news is this is high quality race bodywork. I don't have to patch anything up. I don't have to make the front one piece. I don't have to do any of that. So this is a golden find. I've already, as you can see here, done some trimming on the stock shape so that the lower handlebars of the GSX-R front end will fit under there and be able to have clearance for my hands at full turn both ways. I've gone ahead and mounted it on the frame, as you can see, and I think this is where I'm going to have it. I think I've got some places where I can mount it onto the frame, and I have a really good idea of what I'm going to be doing here to mount some arms out in the middle for the fairing stays and to mount the gauge cluster right here. So that's what I'm going to do now. And that's welded on. That might be my best, strongest aluminum weld yet. I know it's not pretty, but I'm still learning. I actually feel pretty good about this one. Let me show you where it's going. Okay, so this part will have the holes in it. It will go back behind here. And the bottom part will be welding onto the bottom. Well, they're not the same length, but let me see what I can do about that. I'll be able to weld that to the aluminum in there. That one I did a little bit longer because I thought it was short, but apparently it wasn't. So, but it will work. So the welding went pretty well. I'm not really good at aluminum, but it stuck together. But then on the crossbar, I made a mistake. So this was definitely trial one. Yay! I'm working on the side fairings right now, and I just have a small little bracket I'm going to place on the back side of this engine mount in place of some washers that I had. This bracket will go there, and I'll be able to secure the bodywork to it. So that side is secure. That's good. Now moving on to the other side. This side just has the open, so I just cut off a small spacer and wrapped it with just a bit of Teflon tape and some adhesive, and then pushed it right in there. So it'll just give me a smaller hole to work with as I make a bracket to go from there to there. There's no reason to have a very huge bolt right there if I don't need one. So just a reducer. I need to go back and finish up the front side. I keep trying to convince myself that I can make this work, and it's rigid as it is, but I know for a fact that this jammed up weld that I did melted almost all the way through. I know that's going to be an issue, especially with vibration and everything on the track. Not to mention vibration that I have to worry about while in transit. So I'm going to scrap that part and start all over with a tower that comes straight out and then arms that come up from there. It's disheartening, but it's probably what I should do. I think it's the best choice. So I have this cool piece of aluminum that I picked up from the recycling bin when I was recycling some other things. And I think I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna bend it. So it's 95 mil between there. So if I take the middle and mark it, I know that this is 60 millimeters across. So I'll take 30 from each side of that middle mark and I'll bend it there. There's the middle and 30 mil to each side. Those are my bend lines. Now I'm gonna make some more holes to shave some weight off of this thing. And I'm gonna do this before I bend it because it's much easier to drill and do things like this and measure off when it's all flat in one piece than it is when it's all finished or bent up. So it's easier to do it here and then do the bends than it is the other way. But here's how I got it mounted up. So I went ahead and bent that aluminum and you can see it like that. And I started to weld these to this aluminum and ran out of argon right in the middle. It just evaporated the aluminum. So I've got some new argon now. So I'm gonna see if I can save this arm and see if I can get it attached properly. And if not, then I'll have to figure something else out, but I'm gonna give it a shot, so cross your fingers for me. So before I do that, I'm gonna drop some heat wrap in there, right behind this, so I don't burn my fairings up, because these were a heck of a deal on these fairings. I'd rather not waste that. So I'm gonna drop those in there and protect that fairing. There, now with it all finished, I'm ready to go ahead and put the front fairings on. It's nice and sturdy and really light too. So I'm happy with how it turned out. As I'm working around in the garage, I have the Aprilia 450 back here and I have the tail section from the first iteration of my 250 race bike. And I really like that. I really like the simplicity and also like how on my 250 race bike, I had it all one piece instead of two pieces. So I think I'm going to do that with this 300 GP bike as well. So I'll start by putting down some tape on the subframe area and start forming that up. I'm really having problems just putting it together in my head, what it should look like, how to do it, whether I should use a large and bulbous type of tank to put my knees against, or whether a more streamlined tank like the R3 stock tank cover, or what I should be doing here. And I'm just kind of losing myself trying to figure this out. I have this Speed Triple tank that I will not use for anything, and I do like the shape. It's just really wide, but I don't know that that's a bad thing necessarily. I think that might be good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hollow this out, cut out the bottom, use the fact that the bottom of this tank will rest very neatly and securely against the frame because it's made for that frame. I think I'm going to hollow this out and use this as the shape for the tank. And that leaves only the tail section up to my struggling imagination at this point. And just like that, with a little bit of a mess to clean up, my tank shell. Stick on here. That actually fits really perfect. I'm happy with that. I don't have to worry about forming this myself. I just have to use this as the form. So here's the rear tail section, and I have it all covered with packing tape, which, as I've mentioned before in my videos, is a great way to keep epoxy from sticking. Epoxy won't stick to packing tape. I'm just going to rub all this down with some carnauba wax. Then I can get to laying the composites. Okay, so I've let the carnauba wax set and added some PVA to the top of it. I've covered up everything that I think may get some drips on it as I lay out the carbon. I'm just going to lay some composites on this and see if I can get this one piece taken care of today. Give you a little look of the first layer. I think it's going to turn out pretty well. I'm very happy with this. It's not yet cured, but it's tacky, so I'm going to put some more layers on now. It's nice because then it will lay down and stick to what's already here a little bit easier. So that's a full layer of fiberglass on top, and a little bit of shine still left in that. So I'm gonna let this cure and then see if I can pull it off the form and then reinforce underneath. Now it's all cured. I'm gonna try to pull it off. Let's cross our fingers that this is easy and it doesn't give me any issues. There we go. All right, got it all pulled off. Check this out. Fits perfectly. Super happy with this. And I've laid up a quick and dirty just flat panel for the bottom with some weight on it and a 90-degree on there. This will be pretty easy. And that quick flat layup worked really well. There's the bottom. This will go underneath there. It's really nice outside. I'm gonna get this front fairing outside and get it painted so that I can get the clear coat on it. I have some 2K clear that I popped open for another project, and I need to use it before it solidifies within the can. So I'm gonna do this now. I tried to throw some paint on the tank cover and tail section, but as you can see, give me that wonderful finish. So I started to sand it down again. It just goes to show you that the Lord will punish you if you try to cover up your carbon fiber, which I'm trying to do here. So it's my fault and I deserve it. But I'm gonna sand that down and then refinish it. After sanding it off and getting some different white paint, it turned out okay. I went ahead and put a clear coat of that 2K clear on it. I had a little bit left in the can. It's not amazingly beautiful, but it is white, and it does have a 2K on, which won't degrade with gasoline being spilled on it, if I ever spill any. So that's good. Now, what I'm doing is I've gotten the cheese tank up here, looks like Swiss cheese, and I'm making some bottom mounting points for it. I've already secured the top up here, so I have it exactly where I want it positioned. Now I have some old brackets that I'm going to attach like that to the back side and then weld on to the frame, the subframe down here. That one's good to go. The other one will go right here. Okay, so the tank is mounted on, or the tank skeleton, I guess I should say, mounted on properly. All right, now that we're putting everything back together, I did get a keyless gas cap, so I'll throw that sucker on here. There we go. In an effort to clean up my handlebars, keep it as minimal as possible, I'm going to move my, sorry, God, I just get to talking and I forget to point the camera where it's supposed to go, but whatever, it's all good. I'm gonna move my starter button to right there. So I'm gonna use this as a template. Yeah, kind of like that. I put some JB Weld to hold this side in because I couldn't get that drilled and tapped in a proper way. So JB Weld that on, drilled and tapped that side, that's good to go. And here's my little button. That'll be my starter. Final touches on the seat. Let's get you back there. Use some foam from something that I ordered. Use some of the packing foam that came in one of the boxes. There's some parts as a little bit of cushion to put under my butt. And to cover over top of that, I'm going to use some neoprene. And the cheapest neoprene you can probably get is a mouse pad from Walmart. Cut it about there, and I'll glue that on as well, and then I'll stitch it around the edges. Usually I time-lapse something like this because I'm sure I'll just screw it up and probably curse as well, but we say we just do it normal and see if I can actually get it right for once. Ooh, that looks good. Can you believe it? Yeah, that'll work. That'll work just fine. I think I did a decent job, and you were here with me for the experience. Which reminds me, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you're bored, just turn my videos on so I get more watch time. That way I can start earning money and pay for racing slicks. Sweet, now with everything ready to go on, it's time to fully assemble the bike. So with the race bike all put together, It's just about time for the first ride. All I've left to do is make a belly pan for it. Thank you so much for watching the entire video. It really means a lot that you put those minutes in of watch time. If you haven't already, please subscribe.